There's going to be some concerns, I think, for sub-Saharan Africa in terms of how we move forward with delivering food security and supporting those people. There's a number of concerns around population growth, pressure on lands, how you support smallholder farmers into the commercial sector. So there's a lot of interest around transformation of the agricultural sector, what that looks like, how you provide opportunities for people to diversify and eventually reach out of poverty. So it's a very key component of poverty reduction, development and growth.
The main challenges relate to production of food. Most production occurs on small-scale farms with very low inputs, very low technological inputs. And so the amount of food you have to eat is directly related to how much food you can produce year on year. In urban areas, the main challenge is related to food security and not so much related to production of food. This is because there's obviously much less land available to grow crops on. So the main challenges related to food security in urban areas are concerned with access to food.
So the key issues related to food consumption in urban versus rural areas, I think I'd identify three key issues. The first is that in urban areas, people are very much dependent on a monetised economy, so households are having to buy their food, and you have a greater proportion of people's income being spent on food.
Basically, if you have money, you can purchase food. If you don't have money, you're unable to purchase food, and that's when you run into problems relating to food security. In urban areas, distribution of food tends to be much less of a problem. This is because people are physically located much more closely to one another, and food tends to circulate fairly easily in urban markets because the markets are there. People are exchanging food on a day-to-day basis.
You have rapid urban expansion taking place in many parts of sub-Saharan Africa. So that's putting pressure on food supply chains and the provisioning of food into cities, particularly in areas where you don't have significant industrialised production of food. Conversely, in rural areas, you have low agricultural productivity, poor service provision, poor infrastructure development, poor extension services, which is also a major challenge in terms of food consumption for rural households.
People don't live so closely to one another. So sometimes food security problems arise when you can't physically move the food between different rural areas or between urban and rural areas.
In rural areas, it tends to be the diet's more homogeneous, more seasonally based, less choice for households, whereas in urban areas you have rapidly changing diets linked to socioeconomic divisions. And that introduces a whole set of issues related to changing quality of food and sets of health issues.